Dungeons and Dragons.
And Junk Drawer. Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
We made it back and much closer to being on time than last week.
It's
Ooh,
true.
7 minutes.
That's not even that bad. Welcome back to another episode of Dungeons and Dragons and Junk Drawer. We are here this week to bring you all the fun and the goodness and the shenanigans. Leading us off this evening will be one Dice Daddy. What you got for us?
Oh shit, it's really early. I wasn't prepared for this. I'm just kidding, I was. Okay, so first and foremost, I would like to do my usual plugs of Roll20. They've been awesome. All of their platforms have been fantastic, and if you are looking to play some tabletop role-playing games at a safe social distance, Roll20 is a great option for you. And going to their marketplace, they have a million different kinds of artists and writers and producers. They're all great of different kinds of gaming things. Things that we've used have been Mythic Portal Games, Printable Heroes, Kev's Lounge, and of course, David Hemingway. Love all of them. They've all been fantastic. Now, my second plug should be no surprise. Say, Mike, do you know you like spice, right?
I have been known to enjoy a good spice on occasion.
Right. And so occasionally there are good things of different kind of hot sauces that sometimes have Latin American people on it. Yes. And there is one in particular that doesn't have a wooden cap because they've broken my heart, but actually a man in a sombrero with a mustache. Now,
the weirdest bit.
Now, Mike, what if I told you that they didn't just make hot sauce?
What other products do they make?
Well, they make a whole bunch of other things, but mostly they make apparel.
Oh,
Such
no.
as this Tapatio glow-in-the-dark t-shirt. Tapatio.
Wow.
Is that
Oh, yeah.
officially licensed?
It is.
That's awesome.
I bought it 2 weeks ago. I have been waiting. It's also been charging in my bathroom, so if we killed the lights in here, it'd glow like fucking a Jackson Pollock. And look how disappointed Pat is.
I love all of this, and Tapatio hashtag not Cholula.
Not Cholula.
Pat,
Not my hot sauce.
a Jackson Pollock is a euphemism for cum all over a surface.
There goes our
But why does it glow?
monetizing.
It's called a black light.
Yeah, black light.
really
You
active.
drank a lot of pineapple juice or
That wasn't-
jellyfish.
That wasn't also in the... Never mind.
And then
That's fine.
actually, I have an actual thing that I can plug,
Okay.
which isn't hot sauce, but we know which brand. I'm actually going to be involved in something called Dragon Couch. Now, if as you know, during this pandemic, there have been a lot of things that have been canceled, Dragon Con being mostly one of them. So a few friends reached out to me and decided to make Dragon Couch, which is going to be a camera kind of like watch party panel, smorgasbord of nerd stuff. And I am actually going to be doing a panel tentatively on September 4th, Friday. So I'm very excited about that. So go to
Hell yeah.
dragoncouch.com for updates.
Yay. Up next, with a much less strange lead-off, or introduction, or shout-out, Josh Delgado, what do you got for us, buddy?
Hey, what's up? I'm just gonna give a big old shout out to water. Love your water. You let me drink you and bathe in you, and it really, really means a lot in these trying times. Unprecedented times, really. And, as always, let's say it together. Fuck you,
Fuck you,
Donovan.
Donovan.
That's right, fuck you,
Donovan.
Donovan. All right, rated PG-13 coming this winter.
Coming, but spelled dirty.
Yeah. But you're my
Oh.
stepbrother.
In hopes of some actual normalcy,
My favorite actress.
Carlos, please.
No, normalcy, are you sure? All right.
Yeah.
I have two shout outs. They're kind of correlated with one another. First shout out is going to be to Random Encounter Productions, which is the other group that I play with. I actually got to play first time in like 3 months last night. Woohoo. Thank you, Cody, for letting me borrow your awesome laptop so that I can jump in for this one, junk drawer, and not have any issues in the time being.
Thank you.
You can check him out at Twitch on Random Encounter Productions, Random Encounter Prod, PROD, and you can check him out on other social media sites such as Instagrams and so on as Random Encounter Productions. The other person I want to shout out is kind of a double shout out is my friend Meg actually got me this awesome shirt, and it says "Reach out and touch faith," and it has a mace and it says "Cleric" on the bottom. And this was made by Zerjester. You can check his work out at Instagram on Zerjester, or you can check his website out at zerjester.threadless.com. That's Xerjester. He has all these different classes like rogue, cleric, barbarian, so on and so forth, and they're all different sayings with like the designs. The designs are kind of awesome, and he was kind of cool enough to like make this one, and I love it. So yeah, back to you, Pat.
That was so normal. Mike, go ahead and ruin it.
Totally ready to do that. Be sure to make sure that you're following us on the Junk Drawer Show on Instagram, where we're currently doing a night of shameless plugs in our Instagram story. Josh, you mentioned earlier that you're a fan of water. Is that still true?
You know what, Mike? It sure is.
Wow. So, being a fan of water, I'd like to go ahead and interest you into the newest revolution in water and our totally legit sponsor for tonight, Liquid Death. Drinking a can of this before a stream and during battle will help you survive. You know why? Because it's not going to murder your dreams. It's only going to murder your thirst. Liquid Death.
Is it literally just water?
Yeah.
Just
they make a sparkling water as well.
Just branded water.
Yeah, but their branding is top notch, and I'm here for it. And it's also not expensive for what it is. So.
You know what? This is what's wrong with corporate America. Anyway, back to Pat. Or Mike, if you have
Back
more.
to a defeated man over to my left.
Hey, Pat, what about a normal announcement?
This is my final stream. No.
Daughter's gonna die.
No, I want to lead off this stream by doing the same shout out I do every week and thanking my wife for allowing me to play Imagination with you guys every week for multiple hours and listen to the dumbest announcements that we possibly have. I would also like to shout out Corinne, who is my sister's girlfriend, who will be doing some character art for us. She's open to you guys reaching out to her and her doing some drawing things for you. So do that. She's wonderful. I shouted out her Instagram last week, and I don't remember what it is, and I don't want to look at my phone. But Corinne, appreciate you, girl. And with that,
Dice Daddy, whenever you're ready, I can totally do that. Okay, so clear comms. So when we were all last together, previous week, we were currently on the Wandering Rose. Now, we went into the long stretch of the night of the Wandering Rose and kind of followed everyone as they went. There was the unlooming and very certain danger of guards catching our friends Alder and Thokk. However, Thokk used his big boy brain, and he used all of his brain capacity and was able to get out of that cleanly. And eventually, Drummel and Captain Creed took the mushrooms together, where Drummel saw a few things of Captain Creed's life and vice versa, which ended with them kind of just laying together for the night. Meanwhile, Donner and Thokk and Alder and Valdrana all had a very awkward interaction within the aquatic suite. Eventually, everyone woke up. There was a slight friction with Donner and the rest of the party in regards to lying about Thokk's identity and their identity. And we finished it with Thokk and Manu within the aquatic room, where Manu came to the revelation that the name Hotep, which was the name of the voice that had been coming to them, was Hotep. And he recognized it as his family name. So we will take it from actually inside the aquatic room, with Manu currently plexed on the bed and Thokk kind of across from him. So Thokk, you see that Manu has this very concerned look on his face. He is currently drilling a hole in the bottom of the floor as he's trying to kind of assess the situation in the knowledge that you two learned during your dream.
So, you said your last name is Hotep. Where does that come from? Like, is it like
It comes from my father and my father's father and so on. It's a family name. I don't understand.
hmm. I mean, I wish I could help you, but I don't know much history of this world, and I mean, I've only been here for 7 years, but I've never heard that before.
I don't understand because if it's a relative of mine, one from long ago, that wouldn't be possible because undead and that kind of magic one has been outlawed for generations, especially since the Dragon War when they lifted that iron dragon and brought it back from the dead. And two, it's very, very, very rare, and it needs to take a very powerful person to bring someone back from the dead. And I don't think my sister or her husband would do that. I don't. And you see him, and he puts his head in his hands, and kind of rubs his eyes. I don't understand.
It's okay. Obviously we don't have the answers now, but in time we'll figure it out. Like right now, this is not the time or the place to find answers. We're gonna have many questions, and you know, again, we'll figure it out.
He just nods and kind of puts his hand in his head in his hands again, and eventually he stands back up. So, besides that, what are we gonna do about Blondie?
Which one?
Oh, one that you yelled at or wanted to yell at. Punch in the face.
Punch in the face. Yeah, I like that idea. It's still considering it. Like, I mean, he's not wrong, but what other way were we gonna get on the ship without lying? What other, there's many things that we have to lie about in order to be able to get through. Like, yes, the people over at, was it White Willow didn't trust us? Oh, White Willow, we lost our trust, but we also saved them from a potential demon.
I mean, that is valid, but what is going to be your excuse this time? You're not exactly saving the ship, and they're doing a favor for all of you.
I guess coming clean is the only way. She's not going to be happy. I'm sure she'll be pissed.
I am certainly sure she's going to be pissed.
DM, out of game.
Yeah.
Have we already started sailing?
Yes, you
Okay,
have
I'm sorry,
already
remember.
started sailing. When you left, you actually felt the boat jerk, and you do know that you're leaving the port at the moment.
Well, I mean, now's as good a time as any, I guess, for her to know who I am. So,
Okay. Do you know what you're going to say?
not exactly, but I mean, I did get her cousin out of trouble. So hopefully that'll be put her in my good graces at some point.
And
What's
he kind of looks at you and he's like, sure. I mean, yeah. Just, you know what? That's your point. Just stick to the point.
Well, she also likes making deals. Or, I mean, this is a treaty ship.
It is a treaty ship. Okay. So, Okay. I am going to watch the shit show.
Cool. I'm glad. Um, wish me luck. And I walk out of the room
Mm-hmm.
and I head to.
Start heading for the deck.
I head for the deck.
Okay. So we'll take it to the actual deck itself, which has currently Alder and Donner kind of next to each other, as in the previous session, you two had a conversation between the two of you. So we can kind of pick up from where that is, where the two of you are kind of looking into your breakfast plates, most of it gone. And you do see that Captain Creed is towards the back of the ship with the steering wheel. As you see very slowly White Willow becoming smaller and smaller in the distance.
Driftwood
I
Harbor.
mean, Driftwood Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
That one.
Sorry, Driftwood Harbor.
We're back.
As you slowly see Driftwood Harbor growing smaller and smaller in the distance.
Well, I guess we're on our way.
Certainly feels that way. Oh,
Have you been on a boat before?
I was gonna say DM. Would I would assume that I've probably been on like some makeshift boats, but probably nothing like this, right?
Right. You've been on very small kind of boats. If anything, kind of smaller than a freighter, but things that would transport goods from one area to the next. So nothing to
Gotcha.
this massive a size.
I mean, I'm from a bit of a trade town before it became more of a manufacturing town, and I've been on boats, but nothing this huge.
Well, it is an experience. I can only assume that Thokk's boat is smaller than this, but an experience nonetheless. I would get familiar with it because, boats have personality.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I had
'cause-
someone say it once, and I just kind of held on to it.
Gotcha. Because I'm like, all right, yeah, I know animals have personalities, much like people do, but I haven't heard of an inanimate object having a personality. So I guess that's going to take some time for me to try and figure out, because that's definitely not in my book.
I mean, boat personalities probably wouldn't come in a book on how to be more refined in conversation. Most sailors that I've run into, not super refined. Honestly, like Thokk is probably one of the most generous, I guess. Most sailors won't give you the shirt off their back. I feel like Thokk
Gotcha.
kind of would. Maybe not right now, but moving forward, maybe. At least not me.
Yeah, well, you might have to work things out with him before he gives you a shirt off his back again. So,
I think that's understandable.
well, I think since I'm not really ever out in open water like this, I think I really just want to try and get good observations of like the wildlife
Mm-hmm.
that we'll find in the sea. Honestly, might be something that could possibly help me out with if we have to get into the water at any point. Maybe turn into, shift into some kind of like shark or something like that, or maybe even conjure animals could potentially be cool. So, just something to, I guess, think about for myself.
I mean, we're kind of quite a ways up from the water, but you could maybe, if it's big enough, you could see some stuff.
That's what I'm going to be looking for.
I believe in you. Good luck. Be the big brain boy on the water.
Yeah, it's not really my speed, but I'll do my best.
Perfect.
Okay. Speaking of the big brain boy, from what I recall, Dremel, you had actually left Donner at his bar. Where did you head to?
I'm not sure. I probably would have started walking toward Thokk because
Okay.
I was just upset at Donner, so heading off.
Okay. So Eventually, after about 15 minutes of getting to the level that that Thokk is on, you actually see Thokk kind of walking up the hallway.
Oh, hey, Brock.
Mm.
Hey, hold up. And I kind of jog on up to him. Hey, man, I'm sorry about Donner. That's kind of a fucked up thing for him to do.
Yep, but I'm gonna see if I can prove my point. Here, follow me, and I like walk back towards the top, towards the deck.
Whoa, whoa,
Okay.
whoa, whoa. What do you mean, prove your point?
He wants things to be cleared. I'm gonna clear them right now.
Hey, ho, let's not get too testy right now. I don't think that's such a great idea. I'm on the side of keeping your identity hidden for, I don't know. Again, I look at my wristwatch that does not exist for another 2 weeks. Let's get to the island.
I mean, he says that would make things worse. I'm just trying to test his theory.
But why?
We're gonna find out eventually. Like, I'm not the best at keeping secrets. I'm not the best at lying, to be honest.
Look,
And
the key to every lie is just a seed of truth. So just like change it a little bit. It's fine. You're not Thokk. You're Brock. It's fine. It's easy. You're not a sailor. You're a plumber. They both have to do with water. I couldn't think of something that rhymed with sailor. Tailor. You're a tailor. You're Brock the tailor.
but no, that's not gonna work. I mean, look, hopefully she'll be in a good mood. I mean, you spent the time with her, like she seemed like she was in a good mood, and you know, hopefully me getting her cousin out and bailing her cousin out helps. But
Yeah, she was in a good mood, but then she woke up and had to be a captain again. She's not in a great mood. You saw how angry she was this morning. How about this? Listen, I'm gonna hang out with her again tonight. Let me broach the subject, see how she feels about you, and try to get some insight.
how she feels about me or how she feels about Brock?
Oh, Thokk, I want to see how she feels about you as a person. See if you're walking into a trap right now.
Oh, like she despises me.
Let me see what I can do. Just give me a night.
I give you till morning. If by morning I'm going to just tell her who I am. I can't put up with the charade. And I can't have Donner be like, oh yeah, I'm Mr. High and Mighty. I never get you guys. I always get you guys out of trouble. No. Done.
It's a deal.
Even though he's the same guy that just rushed into Zunu's cave without any of us. I was like, okay, cool. So you're reckless and you're the one telling us that you have to save our asses all the time? No.
Yes. And Dremel kind of takes his book, his journal, and makes a little note. Whenever
Like a little notch.
like, all right, I was right. Cool.
While Thokk is kind of venting to you, you actually see like very faintly coursing his veins, kind of burning this red dim light as you go to, yeah, don't listen to him, he's a dumb fuck. And as Thokk kind of comes down, that light kind of calms down.
I won't say anything, but I'll take a note of it.
Mhm.
All right, so I'll talk to her tonight, and you'll have until tomorrow evening, and then you can tell her next week. And I reach out my hand to shake.
What do you mean I'll have till tomorrow evening for what?
Oh, for me to give you the information, and then you can think about it for an entire week, because that's what a responsible man does, and then you can tell her next week.
Why wait till next week though?
Well, you got to sit on it. If it's 2 days, you're going to make a rash decision. If it's 2 weeks, you might forget to do it. So a week is right in the middle. It's perfect.
Tell you what, I'll give you 24 hours to give me the information back, and by 48 hours from now, I'm going to tell her exactly who I am, because the further out we are into sea, the worse it's going to be.
All right, 72 hours it is. Now Rachel, my hand to
48
shake
hours
it.
it is.
All right, 68 hours it is.
48 hours it is.
All right, this isn't going anywhere. 48 hours.
And I'll shake at 48.
Yeah,
I'll talk.
great.
Do you have an opinion? And I'll look at Manu.
Manu kind of looks over at you and he goes, I mean, I feel like it would be more prudent to tell her as soon as possible before you get to deep water, because at least from here you might be able to walk back to shore if you're kicked off the boat.
Well, I already shook on it, so.
And you see him and he just right, because that's a binding contract. And he crosses his arms. As Dremel, you're kind of like looking at Thokk, and he goes to the side. Well, I shook on it. And you're like, all right.
Cool.
And I still head to the deck though, as
Okay.
Brock.
And as Brock, Thokk starts heading to the deck, and then Dremel, are you going to the room or are you following him?
I'll turn around and follow him.
Okay. So it doesn't take too long before Alder and Donner, you are joined on the deck. As you kind of turn around, you see Thokk as Brock. And Dremel, they look a little bit calmer than last that you interacted with them, Donner, as they kind of approach the deck.
Oh, I'm not going near Donner, by the way. I'm going to
Okay.
the other side of the deck.
Great. Okay. So you kind of make very quick eye contact with Thokk or Brock before he looks to the side and completely just cold shoulders you and goes to another side of the boat. And Drummel, you're kind of by the stairs as you're like looking. You're like, oh no.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
Is it
Not
my
again.
fault? It's the mountain all over again. So you do have a decision to make, Drummel.
Thokk, where do I see you walking to?
I'm walking towards the side, the starboard. No wait, that's
Starboard is front and stern is back.
the wrong one. Then the stern. Wait, I thought.
I will say that Captain Creed is in the back,
Oh,
and that's
fuck
where the
that.
wheel is.
Yeah, no, let's not go near her.
Stern in the bow. So actually, she's on the bow.
Yeah, starboard's left.
We can
I'm
just
looking
say
for-
left.
Just say
There
left. Fuck.
There,
just say
left.
left.
She's
Oh no, starboard's
she-
right, port is left.
Yeah, she's on left boat.
She's
I'm
on
at
port.
Wait, so
Port.
we're up on the deck, or we're in that
Yes.
like
I'll
performance
give
area?
you- No, you're on the front deck. I mean, every level of this boat does have a performance area because it's the boat. That's how it's designed. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it back up. Okay, so the steering wheel is here, and then I would say the bar is here, where the bar is, and then the stairs is right by the crow's nest.
Okay, gotcha.
Got it?
Yep.
So
Uh,
steering
so-
wheel, steering wheel was at the back, and then I missed it. I was zoomed in too far.
It's okay.
Bar's right here,
Yep.
and then the stairs are right here.
Got it.
All right. So when we walk up and I see Thokk make that eye contact, I'm gonna just look at both of them and not walk to either, and walk over to the bar.
Okay. Actually, you're sitting at the bar. my understanding.
Yeah, I guess we would be sitting.
So
at the bottom.
Donner and Alder are actually sitting at the bar. That's where they were eating at.
Oh, can we get the characters up on the screen so I can tell where?
Of course.
we're at?
I was gonna do that. Give me one.
Gang, gang.
Appreciate you.
Okay. So
And Dremel's like, ah!
and then Thokk, you're about here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Drummel, you're about here. And then I will find an icon for Creed, who is back.
Sorry.
Okay.
And
so this
I'll
is
just be leaning against the rail, looking out to sea.
okay. And it's been so long since you've actually been out to sea that it kind of quells that fire that was in you for a while. That within the depths of the Iron Hill in Stoneward, you weren't sure you were going to see the ocean again because you weren't sure what was going to happen there. And you're kind of in your, what I would designate, hopefully, as Thokk's kind of like happy, calm place.
A happy place.
And Manu's kind of like sitting on the edge of the boat as he's kind of looking out to the water. And you hear him and he goes, I've never seen the ocean before. I can see why you like sailing on it.
It's therapeutic. It's beautiful but dangerous. I don't know. I just can't describe it. It calls to me.
And he looks over at you and he kind of smirks and looks back out of the water. So Drem, you are currently at where the stairs are.
Walking up, I'll look over to Thokk and watch him make eye contact. Stand there awkwardly for a second, not knowing what to do because mom and dad are fighting, and then walk over to the bar where the two guys are at.
Okay. And then you do have full range of your character. You can move them if you'd like.
Try to make an effort.
We kind of came to an agreement.
Consider
Apologize
that,
for
definitely.
misunderstandings. So we're in a better spot.
Absolutely.
Well, good. Just one more to work on, and I flag down a bartender again.
Yeah. While you kind of like look helplessly around, eventually that kind of mousy bartender that's been serving you,
Drinks were last night.
and she goes, I do apologize. I was on the morning shift. I was performing.
Ah, that makes sense. Well, I didn't have alcohol, did I?
You did not.
Can I just have a whiskey neat with a couple mushrooms in it?
She kind of looks at you oddly as she kind of looks at the suns that are cresting over the sea as it's this very early morning. And she goes, I can get the whiskey neat. And then she looks at the other two of you, Alder and Donner, and she looks at you expectingly.
Get whatever you want, guys. I'll buy it this morning. And something for that guy over there, too. And I point to Brock.
Okay.
I'll just be like, just a cup of tea, please.
Tea? Yes, we do have tea.
I would just like, do you guys have that coffee stuff? I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just do that. I'm not going to drink whiskey now.
Well, you guys are making me feel like an alcoholic, so...
I mean, you're not drinking by yourself, so that's the first sign of alcoholism, not is like drinking alone in a room.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If I just put tomatoes in it, then it's a breakfast. So can I have a Bloody Mary?
And she looks at you and she goes, I can make you a Bloody Mary, yes.
Thank you.
Or Bloody Maria.
Maria, Mary, Maggie. I don't really care either way.
Make it
Maria
bloody.
Has tequila in it.
Go with what you feel. I trust you.
She kind of looks a little plexed. Okay, coffee, Bloody Maria, tea, and then she points over at Thokk. Bloody Maria, and she kind of looks at you, Dremel.
And I look back. I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's loosen him up a little bit.
Great. Okay. And then I'm going to put that back there. Okay. So she kind of leaves, and she will be gone for several minutes as the three of you are kind of left to your own devices.
Yeah, I got to work on that one, but I kind of got the feeling that he's not in the mood to work on things at the moment, so I'm going to kind of give him his space.
Yeah, that might be the right move for now. But if we're going to be on this ship together for a while, can't really avoid him.
I have no intention of avoiding him, Drem. You don't have to worry about that. I just give him a little bit of time to enjoy the water. He hasn't been here in a while, so maybe he'll be more receptive, after a few hours at sea.
You're probably right.
It's worth a shot.
If you want to bring him the drink I bought, feel free.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And once the drinks get back, I'll walk it over to Thokk.
Okay. So the young lady comes back with your libations as Alder, you're presented with this very nice kind of, I would say, lavender vanilla kind of tea. Very pleasant to the nose. And Donner, you're presented with this very black kind of rich coffee that when you kind of smell it, it smells like chocolate and kind of you get a little bit of a woodsy kind of note from it. And then Dremel, you get this very big glass, 2 big glasses of what looks like to be crushed tomatoes. And then when you kind of take a little sip, you're hit with that tomato and then that aftertaste of just tequila and a little bit of heat.
Sorry, I was updating the chat. Say
No
that last
problem.
bit again.
You got your Bloody Maria, and it's good.
Woo!
It's
Wakes
a little
me up.
spicy. Perhaps they used Tapatio. They did. They did. It's my world, not yours. Okay. So, after a few moments of kind of feeling everything out, Donner, you pick up the twin to Dremel's drink as you start to slowly walk over to Thokk. Thokk, you've been sitting there for, I would say, a good 15 minutes of just kind of peering out to the water, listening to the ocean. You hear the occasional chat between different kind of crewmates and different women that are on the boat. They don't really interact with you very much, but they interact with each other, and you're kind of in between eavesdropping and kind of going into that place of not paying attention at the same time. As Donner slowly walks over to you with a red-looking cup.
I don't look at him. I'm still looking out into the ocean.
I'm just going to kind of walk up next to him. I'm going to put the glass down in front of him. And I'll say, I'm sure you're not ready to kind of make amends yet. But this is courtesy of the giant blue man at the bar. I'm sorry for what it's worth, and hopefully we can patch this up later. I'm gonna put a firm grasp on the shoulder and squeeze, not like I'm strong, like compassion.
Yeah.
And friends and stuff.
I'll just turn my head to look at him. I'll grab the Bloody Mary and I'll down it in one go.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a con check for me.
Check or save?
Check.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. As it goes down, it is very spicy. You can taste the tequila, and you can actually feel your brain get a little bit fuzzy. However, you are not blackout, just not control your body drunk, as it's actually quite pleasant. And as it's going down, you're thinking, man, I should have fucking savored this.
And then once I finish it, I put it back on the railing and just say thanks and walk off.
I'm going to turn around to what I assume is Dremel and Alder staring, and just go, and I'm gonna pantomime, like I'm gonna go shower and go back to the room and kind of clean up. Bathe myself.
I do this back.
And Donna kind of just shrugs and walks away.
I think Dremel's stealing second. As Donner goes down to the the lower levels of the ship. Thokk, where are you going in particular, which was away from Donner?
Am I able to go to the bow of the ship?
Yeah, you can go to the bow.
That's not where Creed is, right? She's in the stern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
bow
yeah.
is completely in the front.
Yeah. And I'm not going to pull a Titanic, but I am going to stand at the very front of the ship.
I'm flying,
king of the world.
Jack. Manu was walking next to you this whole time, and as you guys kind of sit, there is a little bit. There is a table and a chair at the front of the stern, because obviously it would be a big driving home point if you were sailing. And you kind of sit and you see the crystal clear, almost sapphire-y water as Manu once again kind of sits on the table next to you and he goes, "This is a big power move."
Yeah, don't tell him, but my throat is fucking burning.
And
Oh, it was
he
good.
kind of smiles. It was good.
I know. I appreciate the apology. I need a second. I think hopefully by tomorrow, let's see what Donner says. Or not Donner, Dremel says. And I don't think that keeping hidden is the best idea. I think I'm more mad at myself at how I reacted to the whole situation. Like, he's not wrong. Not telling the truth was the reason that Alejandro died at White Willow in the first place. So
You need to realize, I feel like, because you were fairly open with him, no? He went on his own volition. That's not your fault. Just like this isn't your fault. Yes, I do agree that honesty is the best policy, and the further we go out to sea makes me a lot more nervous because I feel like I don't know what's going to happen if you die and drown. And I don't know what's going to happen to me.
Somebody else.
That, or I'm stuck at the bottom of the ocean for the rest of this, whatever this is.
True.
I do agree with him. I feel as telling the truth would be helpful. However, doing it on your own time and when you feel comfortable, I feel is more valid. Just do it on your own time, but don't wait until we're in the middle of fucking nowhere.
I won't. The way he made it sound yesterday, it's like we're supposed to walk up to every single person that we meet and be like, "What? Hi, my name is Captain Thokk Morningstar, notorious or Morning Light, notorious pirate, pillager of the rich, an escaped convict of Stone Ward Prison." Like,
I mean,
nice to meet you. Like,
I mean, I stated your name the first time we met, and you got arrested immediately, and you weren't an escaped convict at that point.
exactly. So let's add escaped convict to the fray.
While we're here, what else can we do?
By the way, I
We
just
can
remembered
add. You're welcome. And he kind of like puts his hand on your shoulder, and you actually feel it there before he kind of takes it away, and as he's looking out in the distance.
So you said you've never been in the ocean?
Never seen the sea before.
Why not?
I come from sand, desert, and the most I've seen is the Crimson Sea, the red sands of the Crimson Desert. This is poetic in a way. It's only in death that I get to finally see something that I've always wanted to see, but I've been too scared to do so.
Well, thinking optimistically, once we do the things we need to do, once we get Donner where he needs to go, once we help Trem with the Men in Crimson, and once we get Alder where he needs to go, maybe we can go somewhere you want to go. If you're still with me. I'm assuming you'll still be with me.
If we get to that point, Thokk, then sure. I'm more than happy to tell you wherever I'd like to go.
Promise?
And he kind of scoffs and he goes, promise. So we will take it to Donner. You're going down to the lower levels of the boat to go take a shower. And eventually on the second kind of floor, you see Val kind of coming out of her room. And she's in a much more modest outfit than she was wearing for the past 12 hours. Of these kind of just regular linen kind of clothes, a vest that kind of completely covers her torso, these kind of pants and boots. And she kind of looks at you and then she doesn't know what to do. She kind of looks back at the door and she's like, hey, Donna, how was breakfast after all of that uneasiness?
He was about as It was about the same. Ola and I are in a better place. Dremel's buying me coffee. So, and Brock is TBD. Not sure yet, but I think he'll come around. I think my message holds true, but obviously there's exceptions to every rule, but it I guess it couldn't get any worse with Thokk, or Brock rather, and the other two we've made up. So I'm just gonna go clean up, and also you don't have to be awkward around me. Like, I feel like we're connected, destined to be together.
And you see kind of this flush of kind of rush to her cheeks as she goes, no, right. Yes, when you bathe and all of that, yeah, I'll be at the deck. I have a few questions that I kind of was thinking of that maybe you might be able to answer for me.
I can try.
And nods, and she goes, okay, I'll see you up there, champ.
Yeah, it sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
She kind of shrugs and looks shyly before she's like, I'm gonna go back into the room real quick in my room. I'll see you get late. And just
And I'll just kind of turn around and I'll just be like, awesome, I'm killing it with everyone today. And I'll just kind of start walking towards my room.
Okay. So you start walking over to the aquatic room, and eventually you do find that giant kind of claw-footed tub that that Thokk slept in the night before, and there are different pipings and workings and plumbing that does heat up the water. That once you're able to get inside, it's kind of this nice, almost like feeling this whole kind of like warm feeling all over your body as you kind of just sink in. And it is big enough to accommodate you.
Oh,
that you can completely kind of just submerge. And
I just kind of
head over.
sink in there, and I kind of like blow some bubbles, and I just...
Hold up.
Yeah.
Where is that coming from?
I have no idea.
It's not...
I can't even hear you. It's got to be your
Very
microphones.
loud.
Unplug your microphone and plug it back in. Try Pat. Mike, are you plugged in?
It's mine.
It's
Yeah, I'm
Mike.
plugged in.
It's you.
What is it?
It's just like mad interference. It just sounds like almost like you're in a storm.
Shit, what the fuck?
Do you have a fan?
No.
Wow.
Well, it's gone now. But yeah, I couldn't even hear.
Yeah, it stopped when Mike muted himself. I was about to say that in the chat, but I was role playing.
Oh, I thought you had already muted yourself.
No. Is it better now?
Yeah, it seems fine right now.
Okay, I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. That's really weird. It's never done that before.
Yeah, that's okay. At least we know what it is.
Yeah.
And scene.
And
Action.
We're back to the deck of the ship, where the three of you are kind of hanging out. And eventually Val does kind of come up from the stairway, and she has kind of strapped to her back this long sword that I believe it was Thokk would recognize because he went into her room to get her clothes, if he was looking that way. But she does have this very big long sword that is kind of strapped to her back that you would assume during battle she puts around her waist, but in a rest kind of position, it's on her back before she kind of comes up to the bar, and she looks at the two of you and she goes, "You feeling any better, Alda?"
Yeah, a little bit better. That's why I'm not planning on drinking again for hopefully the rest of our time at sea.
Says the addict.
And she
All right, Bloody Maria.
chuckles and she goes, "Oh, you got a Bloody Maria."
Oh yeah, it's real nice too. Little spice to wake me up in the morning and a little alcohol to chill me out.
And she kind of nods and she goes, "Can I be frank with you, Dremel?"
I'll be Dremel.
Okay. So as Frank, what? And I don't usually ask this, but you are harboring a person that my cousin hates very much, and you're, a convict. And she kind of just gestures to the two of you. What exactly happened last night between the two of you? Just spare me any kind of details. But I mean, did you?
Did you fart?
No, I don't fart in front of a lady, unless they ask me to.
It's a weird thing.
It's happened.
It's not that weird.
Oh, it's one of those boats.
You get weird requests.
What happened between? I mean, a gentleman never says, but also nothing. So there's nothing for me to not say.
You didn't sleep with her at all. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad.
No, it's fine. No, I slept next to her, but not in her.
And she kind of looks at you quizzically, and she goes, "Don't find this offensive. I'm not trying to be offensive, but do you like, perhaps?" And she looks over at Alder. "Prettier and more masculine people?"
No, she's cute and all. I'm just not one to rush into things like that. Now, if I'm gonna watch, I'll rush into that real quick. So,
Oh, you're one of those.
yeah, let's not kink shame here on this boat.
This is the last place where we would kink shame.
Well,
And
don't
she
call me one of those.
I'm sorry, I don't know what else to call you.
A voyeur is
Peepers.
the technical term.
I'm just
Voyeur.
Dremel.
Thought it was a cuck.
No, that's
No,
only if
that's
you're in
married.
Yeah,
That's
you have to be
married.
in a
That's when you're
relationship with the
involved.
one getting fucked.
And
Still
Val's
learning
like
it.
talking with you. Yes, that's if you're involved with someone and you watch them.
Gotcha. Still learning, and then I hold up my book.
Yeah, it's probably not in there. See, the
definitely doesn't
difference
have
is a cuck likes humiliation, while a voyeur likes seeing other people happy. And I wink at Alder.
Knowledge. Continue.
I need to wash my brain. But, and she kind of looks and she goes, weirdly, I believe you. I've seen many people, both male, female, and anything in between, kind of melt when they see her. She's able to, she has this pheromone kind of thing. I don't know if you've noticed it.
You mean drugs?
No, she smells like someone that you would desire. And that's just a natural kind of thing that she has.
Huh. I mean, I did notice a very pleasant smell. I just assumed it was perfume.
That is all Jessica agreed. And she kind of looks over at the bartender and she goes, I'll have, let me just have water. That'd be great.
Boring.
Sure, with the shot of tequila. How about that?
Hey, there you go.
As the bartender kind of looks and nods. Eventually, Donner, in the bathtub as you're blowing bubbles and whatnot. Is there anything else in particular that you're doing while you kind of have this quiet time to yourself?
I'm gonna try and reach out to Giffen, and just let him know that I'm on the way to the island of the Stormlord to hopefully get some more information. get a direction.
Okay. Go ahead. You kind of feel that poking in the back of your head.
Mhm.
You do know that you can fail the check if
Oh.
you so choose.
I'm gonna totally do that then.
So you kind of feel that familiar poke and prod as you kind of close your eyes and you see on the other side of the tub, in the tub with you, is Giffen, and he's looking and he goes, I'm sorry,
I didn't think you were gonna show up.
You were talking to me.
Yeah, I just thought you'd like listen. I didn't know you were gonna like be. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
I mean, it's not like I haven't seen you like this before.
I mean, you've seen me worse than this before. Let's not point fingers.
And you see him and he takes off his helmet and you see that he has that shaved head, again, the long scar that kind of creeps up from the crown of his head all the way to the nape of his neck, this deep indent. And you see that previously when he was younger, you could see his irises and the color of his eyes. Well, now it's completely just kind of this sparkling white that when the light hits it, it almost looks like a disco or a mirror ball. As he kind of like looks over at you and he goes, I don't really have much time.
I didn't think you did. That's kind of why I was just checking in. I'm going with someone named Valdonna. Does that name ring a bell to you? Has Ulrich talked about her at all?
I've seen her, but I haven't seen Ulrich in quite some time.
He supposedly talks with her.
Really?
That's what she said.
Okay. Do you know the last time she spoke with him?
A couple of weeks ago.
Weeks. And you see him and he kind of like, his eyes kind of dart back and forth and he goes, okay, good. That's good. The next time that your friend talks to him,
Yeah.
ask him where he is.
I'm hoping that there's some more information on the island as well. I think there should be some answers there. Maybe.
Maybe. And he kind of looks over to the side at like someone that you can't see and he goes, I have to go. Be safe.
You be safe.
And you see him and he puts on the helmet and it's just that cloak of black besides those two eyes that kind of look back at you and he goes, I'll do my best.
I'll see you soon.
Gods, I hope so. And you kind of blink and he's just gone. So, the rest of the bath is very uneventful compared to that. As eventually you wash up and you put these kind of simple clothes, linens that have been put out for you because you did buy the aquatic suite. And eventually you do make your way back up as the four of you reconvene at the bar while Thokk is still at the stern of the ship.
And I'll take Val's hand and I'll kind of walk her over to the other side, probably somewhere like here.
Okay.
And as we're walking away, I'll go, gentlemen, excuse me. The lady has some questions for me.
And she kind of looks at the two of you, Alder and Dremel, and she kind of feigns this like, ooh, he's paying attention to me, as she kind of smirks before going with Donner. And the two of you sit, and you notice at this point she has this massive kind of long sword that's strapped to her back. And you see on the buckle, you see two lightning bolts converging to one point as you recognize this is the symbol of Talos. And she kind of sits down and she goes, I'm very grateful for you. You came at just the right time, it seems like. And I agree. I feel as though we are both, it is kind of fate that we met. Obviously, I've been dreaming of it for quite some time, but I don't know about you. You just said that you would know that you were supposed to go with me.
I knew that I was supposed to follow the storms, and you are the biggest, loudest storm I've come across for quite some time.
And she kind of smirks and she goes,
And that's not a bad thing. It's charming.
charming, I'm charming. And she kind of looks over at her hands and you see she's kind of like picking. And she goes, it's just odd, you know? Not a lot of people worship our deities. The storm, I mean, most people are afraid of that. They cause so much destruction. And the only other person is the queen, and that's only because she's a direct descendant. But I just... And she kind of looks back down at her hands and she goes, I said my name and it looked like you had, like nothing kind of came across it.
I'm not smart. It's part of that. That definitely plays a part in this.
And she kind of...
I know who I am.
That's good. So you don't know anything about the Tiamounts?
Do I know anything about the Tiamounts?
You
I
do
know that it's your last name and people like it.
It's complicated. My mom, her dad, my grandfather, had a thing with the queen at some point.
Oh.
Back, way back, during the Dragon War and a little bit before. I have an uncle. I have two. One of them is, and she kind of gestures over to Creed. I know one of them.
And what of the other?
Don't really talk about the other.
Why?
And she kind of like leans back and she goes, there was, okay, according to my aunt, Anya, sorry, the queen, when eventually this relic, this weapon that she used in the Dragon War single-handedly and won it, it gets passed down from generation to generation. She received it from her father and his father's father and so on and so forth, and she had a son. And that happened to be my grandfather's son, so my uncle. And he disappeared about 40-ish years ago, at least that's what my mom tells me. And so it's now just...
So an heir to the throne just kind of disappeared and no one's asked any questions?
We've definitely asked questions. But the queen is not none too... I wouldn't say she's unpleasant, but she's very reserved. I mean, she's the last survivor of all of her friends. My grandfather, their friend Tristan. She's the last one, and she's on this ivory tower, and I mean, you've heard about the curse of her family.
No, I haven't, actually.
And she kind of leans back and she goes, I don't know how to say, okay. Whoever holds the relic usually perishes, either within war, bedchamber. It's happened since her father and her father's father, and that's why I need to go to the island. If I can get to the island, and I can get the relic that's in there, maybe I can help my aunt. So I'm trying to figure out where you kind of fit into this.
So I remember coming to, and I know I had a life before this. I have friends, I have brothers, I have a sister, a father, same as you. But there's a big gap, and I can remember blips. I can remember spending time with my siblings and going through trials and judgments and, upholding the family name and all that good stuff. I remember all of that. But there's big gaps in what I remember. And what I'm hoping is that I can find a relative, a wife, a son that I left behind that can hopefully fill in the gaps of where I've been. And that's what I'm looking for. And hopefully we can help each other.
And she kind of nods sternly, and she puts her hand out and she goes, "You help me find the relic. I'll help you find your family. I promise."
I believe you. And I stick my hand out and I shake hers.
And right as you kind of touch, you feel this kind of earlier when you scooped her up, you feel this kind of like shock, but you clasp on, and she kind of smiles and she goes, "Okay, no, this is good. I mean, if I think of anything else or
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, okay, so what's the plan with?" And she looks over at Brock and she goes, "With that."
I don't know. I've said my piece. You heard that. Whether you believe it or not, Thokk bears the weight of the world on his shoulders. And I'm going to kind of defer to him on this one. I trust his decision making, and hopefully your aunt's ability to get over things, or cousin's ability to get over things. He did kind of save you, so
I will remember that, and I'll make sure to just really drive that home when she's...
I think it would be very helpful if you did, that you would be potentially incarcerated, maybe worse, for murder 2 times.
I mean, I feel like I would have gotten out of that.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. They would have tried.
They would have tried, and I would have had a longer record, yes.
Probably killed more guards, and
yeah, I mean...
It would have been a bad time, but, he helped you get out of that. You did smell really bad, but maybe you don't. Talk about that part.
I won't talk about that part. And she kind of scoots her chair back, and she kind of smiles softly, and she goes, "Thank you, Donna."
Anything for you, Val.
And you see her, and she walks to the this bow of the ship where her cousin is. So, Alder and Dremel, what you guys doing at the bar?
While I'm sitting there, when Valdonna walked away, I would have said, so much for not kink shaming. Like, I'm not going to feel bad for... Oh, Mike, you're still muted.
Yeah, go.
Like, I'm not going to feel bad for who I am, but, like, damn, pick a lane.
Yeah, I mean, for a boat that seems like it's incredibly open about things, and her to kind of just be, like, questioning you and stuff was a little bit off. But, I mean, hey, it's her family's boat. What am I going to do?
Yeah, speaking of open, how do you like to have sex?
Great question. Next time I have it, I'll let you watch.
You're a little shrimpy for me.
Well, then that's your answer. That's what you have to live with.
Yeah, but you still didn't answer the question.
I told you how you could find out the answer to the question, and you said no.
Yeah, but you said next time, so that could be never. I mean, based on the way you act.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I'm going to pretend I didn't hear it and continue to drink my tea.
It means that you have to read a book to learn how to interact with other people.
Excuse me for trying to be a better person. I'm not a big brain boy.
Come on, man. Just, like, open up a little bit. You start saying stuff about your family, but that doesn't tell me about who you are. I want to know how you like to, put your mouth on other mouths, or whatever you like.
I mean, all right. Well, this is weird. I never really had, like, a friend or anything I guess I talked to this about, so that's why I don't really know how to do this, I guess.
You mean like a brother?
Yeah, like a brother. I mean, I like women. I've had sex before. It's just not something that I'm like actively going for, you know? Um, it was weird because I saw Valdana after you got her outfit, and or after Thokk got her outfit, and I came to the room, and I mean I was a little bit drunk, but at the same time I was all a little bit like also wow, and I haven't felt that in a while, so that was weird. But yeah, I'm staying away from that. That we have enough problems right now on the ship
Wait, wait,
than to
wait,
try
wait,
and go
wait.
after something.
Why
What?
why are you
Huh?
staying away from that?
Um, hmm. I think it's a bad idea, and I don't think it's something that will help us get to the island alive. So,
Well, I mean, you got butterflies in your chest. That's rare. You got to take that when you get it. Who knows when that feeling's going
yeah,
to come around again?
I see what you're saying. Because butterflies in the chest, that's a reference I understand. Um, that's something we used to say. But for right now, I'm gonna just kind of put a pin in it and wait and see how things go here first. Because
Gotcha. You want me to
um,
talk to her for you? I understand.
please don't. Oh, God. It's exactly why I always bottle up my feelings. Um, and yeah, cool. So don't do that, please.
Sorry, you're breaking up. You said do that? Okay.
No, what do you mean I'm breaking up? We're right next to each other.
I'm
Don't
I,
do that.
I'm going into a cave.
We're
And
on a
Aya's
fucking
just kind of
boat.
looking at you like, "Arr!"
And as I do that, I stand up with my drink and start to walk backwards. Oh man, so, I'm sorry. I promise I'll talk to her for you. And then I just stand behind the mast pole.
Yeah.
He can still see me, I assume.
Oh yeah, you're bigger than the fucking like you can like look over from the pole and occasionally Alder you just see like a blue face kind of like look over at you before going very slickly back behind the pole.
And then I'm just gonna be like from a distance. You're still visible.
No, I'm not.
You're still audible.
And then I look over and then I mouth, no, I'm not.
I got that.
Jerem, do me a favor, roll a perception check for me.
4.
4. So, as you're kind of like by the crow's nest and you're looking behind the mast, the sun's kind of blot out for a second as you look up and you just see a very large beak and very black wings.
Dremel's shoulders kind of start to slump, and he's looking up but walking back toward Alder, very upset. Just kind of like not quite like the Charlie Brown sad music, but like
Okay.
30% Charlie Brown sad music.
Okay, we got a 30% CB in here. All right.
So like Michael Cera walking with his head down in Arrested Development.
30% of that, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I'll walk back over and I'll just take my drink. I'll plop down next to Alder, finish the drink, and then just look like stone faced and defeated.
You all right there, big guy?
It's fucking Paul.
See what happens when I ask you to do something and like be a cool friend, and then you try and just like not do it.
I didn't do anything, and Paul came back.
You thought about doing it though, and Paul came back. Maybe that's part of the reason.
I think about doing a lot of things that I don't do. I'm allowed to have my thoughts, Mr. Thought Police.
I'm just saying.
What is this,
it could be a reason.
What is this, 984?
I don't think I get that reference.
Yeah,
But
it's a scroll.
was it like a critically acclaimed scroll?
Yeah, a lot of people liked it, but
Got good reviews.
it got good reviews.
I'll have to check out that scroll at some point when I finish this book.
Yeah, really open up your
but
mind.
yeah, no, I'm open to that. But I'm sorry about Paul. He was here yesterday, or no, not yesterday. This morning. It's been a long day already, and it's not even like noon.
Feels like a
Um,
week, huh?
yeah, basically like a week.
What you said
No,
this morning? This is out of character.
yeah,
You said this morning?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Um, Donna was talking to it. It was literally, well, not talking to it, but like Donna. It was sitting right next to Donna when I came back
So it's
to
Donner's
start
fault it's
talking to him.
here. See? Has nothing to do with my thoughts.
I don't know, but I mean, he's clearly got something going on with you. He might just be a dick and really just like to mess with you. Um, I bet him on the head while Donna was looking at him.
Wait, you got close enough to kill him and you just pet him?
I don't kill birds. I don't kill animals. I try not to if I don't have to.
Yeah, but this one, come on. Like,
Oh,
and I'll look at it. Look at it.
You
The way
see it?
See?
I'm telling you though, I don't think it's just a crow. I think it might be something more than that. Because, well, I mean, potentially he's got a personality, that's for sure. But when I try casting Speak with Animals on him, it doesn't work. So it makes me think that there's something more going on there that I don't know about. But
You think
can't put
maybe
my
it's a
finger on
boat?
it. Think
You know,
what?
you think maybe he's a boat? Because boats have personality, and you can't talk to boats. So that's why Speak with
mean-
Animals wouldn't work.
Yeah, but I really need to read more books. Because how can he be a boat and then fly? I've never heard of a flying boat.
Well, it's because you haven't read 984.
Is there flying boats in that?
Guess you'll have to read it to find out.
That's a no.
I'll be honest, I never read it. I only read the Spark Scroll, so I just know the I just know the basic idea.
Grandma had a book report or school report in grade 4. Okay, so while that's fucking happening, Thokk, what are you doing at the front of the ship, bud?
Lord.
Eventually,
As,
you do hear Dremel and Alder yelling at each other.
What do you think that's about?
And Manu kind of looks behind him. I don't know. It looks like your friends are being idiots again.
I mean, that's
That's what we
fine.
specialize in.
I'm gonna have to send a message to someone.
A message.
Yeah,
Who are you sending a message to?
my first mate. I told her to take the ship somewhere and now change direction, so she should probably know where we're headed.
Don't you have enough people mad at you?
Apparently not. What's one more? At least this one can't hurt me physically. For now.
Probably hurt you emotionally.
You ain't wrong. We'll see what happens. I'll cast sending
Okay.
to see. And be like, things just got complicated. We are on the Wandering Rose, heading to the Isle of Storms. Captain Creed is unaware of my presence for now. I wrote it down. I made sure to count.
Okay. There's a moment that passes before your ears are flooded with, I'm sorry, it must be really, really early. It sounds like you said you were with Captain Creed on the Wandering Rose, and you're going in a direction that we didn't agree on.
No. You didn't hear wrong. You heard right. I'm with Captain Creed. Plans change. Unfortunately, we had to leave Driftwood Harbor in a hurry.
Okay.
I
Another
think that-
moment. Another moment passes, and she goes, "Great. I thought I heard you being a dumbass. I'm going to Green Coast. That's where we're meeting. Change of plans or not."
Do I know where Green Coast is? Like,
The last time you spoke to her, she said it was in the middle between Driftwood Harbor and Saltstone Wharf, where she was at.
okay, and that's the center place, but I don't know it in comparison to obviously the Isle of Storms.
Right. You would assume that it's further north because you're going south of Driftwood Harbor, but that would still be the middle between Driftwood Harbor and Saltstone.
All right, I'll message one more time and say, okay, I trust your judgment. It's obviously better than mine. Keep the crew safe. Keep Tiburon out of trouble. I'll see what I can do to get back.
Another moment passes, and she's a little bit gentler. And she goes, "You hear a sigh. Tiburon misses you too." He looks out on the landscape, and his eyes wander. Just don't get killed on that ship, especially after what happened. As the message kind of fades.
And I won't reply to the message.
Okay.
I'll just keep that in mind. And I'll look at my new.
I heard
And-
all of that.
You heard all of what I said, or you heard of all of what
Well-
she said?
Both. She sounded pissed.
How the hell do you hear it?
I don't know.
You know what? We can. What if we try like that thing again? Like that, what we did like back in the camp? We could try it.
You want to try it on the ship.
I mean, what's the worst that can happen? We burnt down the Wandering Rose. So what?
I'll keep that in mind when I'm in the bottom of the fucking ocean.
You won't be at the bottom of the ocean.
No, I'll
I'm
be
not-
at the bottom of that ocean. I'll be like
Well-
the continental shelf and shit.
It's okay. Fine. We won't try it on the Wandering Rose.
We can try it. We can try just like little things that we can safely just shoot into the water and away from wood.
Yeah, but why learn how to walk when you can run? Like,
How am I dead and you're alive?
life is very ironic.
It is.
I mean,
It's
it's your first
cruel.
time dying. We'll figure out a way to bring you back, and then you can die again, and then we'll bring you back again, and then you can match me. Like my ear's falling right now.
Your ear's falling, Thokk. And he kind of goes. So, when we get this storm, we go to Green Coast. Yeah, that's the plan.
That's where the horizon's gonna be. She refuses to take it out of there. So, I mean, it was the agreed upon place. So I'm not.
Do you blame her?
No, and honestly, it's in capable hands. Don't tell everybody else. Well, you can't tell anybody else this, so that's good.
Thank you.
I've always felt that she was a better captain than I was.
And she kind of looks. He looks at you and he goes, "I have no reference for who this woman is. I've only heard stories. Obviously, you have bigger stories, and I've only heard her voice once. And I can say with absolute confidence, Doc, that she is 110% a better captain than you."
I don't think percentages go to 110.
Oh my God!
I thought they stopped at 100.
Do you breathe manually?
Like, no, I don't need a manual to breathe. Like, I know how to breathe.
I'm gonna go into that void that just kind of sounds like for like an hour. I'll see you later.
Okay.
And you see him, and he walks up, and he starts walking off the bow or the front of the ship, and he
No, don't
walks
jump.
over the air, like off the ship, and you just see his form just kind of dissipate.
Well, all right.
As you're like, wait, don't go. As you kind of look back around, and you see that Drummel is sulking, and Alder is awkwardly like putting his hands and like patting it. And you see that Donner and Val are having a slightly intense, but it looks like comfortable conversation as Captain Creed has had her eyes set on the horizon.
I just think to myself, for a ship that casts calm emotions all the time, this is a stressful ship. It's like, I don't think it works. Her spells are wrong. I gotta teach you how to cast it right.
Great.
And then I'm just like trailing off, just like letting my mind go from one topic to the next.
Yeah.
And I'll just probably keep drinking. Like, can I order drinks, or like, is there anybody
yeah.
like? Me,
Yeah,
or, like,
there's like a barmaid that comes by and checks on you occasionally because you're kind of lone wolf in it at the front of the ship. So she checks in occasionally, and she brings you drinks that you request, and she goes, I'll charge it to the room. It's the aquatic room, yes.
Yeah, but you know what? You can charge it to. You see that man over there? That one in particular. Wait, is Donner out here?
Donner is out on the ship.
Particular.
He's on the deck.
That one.
And she kind of nods. Okay.
He'll take the bill.
I will be more than happy to give him the bill.
And
So
I'll take 3 more Bloody Marias.
3 more. I'll just bring you a pitcher, darling.
That works. Just put a straw in it.
And she goes, and I'll put umbrellas, make it pretty. And Thokk's like,
This is my picture.
so what are you guys doing for the rest of the afternoon? The morning to the afternoon to evening.
Just kind of hanging out on deck.
Yep.
Yeah, I might go talk to Captain Creed at some point.
Okay.
And I'm just going to be observing the water and just kind of looking for any kind of wildlife that I'll be able to observe from the deck.
Okay. So we will go first with Donner. Donner, you hung out with or you hang out with Val for a good portion of the morning into the late afternoon, and she tells you stories about her family and the different kind of visions that she had, and she tells you about how her mother was very strict and she doesn't quite know who her father is, and that at a very young age she was always this kind of almost like a lightning rod for literal lightning and trouble. And you know, she kind of opens up a little bit more than you would have expected, almost like she's excited because she finally has someone who understands what she's going through and what she's talking about. So while that goes into the better part of the later of the afternoon, and she eventually looks over at the captain and she kind of nods, and Val goes, well, crew or no crew, we do have performances. So, I mean, it might be a small show outside of some of the waitresses. It gives them a time off, but I have to get ready for that dress rehearsal. We do still have a appearance to upkeep.
I understand. I will be here as long as it takes.
She kind of smirks and she goes, I wouldn't hate it if you saw the show and you could take like notes or something. Does that make sense? Is that weird?
I don't think it's weird. I mean, I'm not one of I'm not very good at critiquing shows, but I can try.
And she kind of smirks and she goes, just try. That's all I ask.
I'm gonna try.
Okay. And she kind of smiles and she goes, I'll see you later.
You will.
And you see the sword is still kind of like, it's almost like it's bearing into, like you zero in on it and you're like, something off about it is just like, that's your point of concentration. Okay, Drem. So throughout the afternoon, eventually you said you would make your way over to Captain Creed. So Creed is currently, she has her hat off. She's in her puffy shirt with her vest and whatnot. And she kind of has her eye out to the horizon. Occasionally she's looking down at this kind of like, she almost has like a side table of this compass and map that Valdana put together, so she knows kind of where the direction is of where the Storm Island is, as she takes notice of you as you kind of walk up after a few hours of hanging out with Alder.
Hey there, Captain.
And she looks at you kind of sternly, but you can see that there's kind of like a smile that is in her eyes as she goes, Dremel.
While I walk up, I want to look at the map and the compass and see if it means anything to me.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
26.
26. So you kind of look at it, and just from your thought process and what you know of maps and just geologically where things are, you see that it's slightly off course. And you see that if she went like a few degrees to the left, that she would hit the island immediately.
Hey, I think if you go a couple degrees to the left, you're going to have a better time getting to that island.
And she kind of looks down and she goes, are you sure?
I'm fairly sure. I mean, it seems right, and then I go into explaining how like I understand that maps work. Like, if this means this, and then like this line correlates with this line, and that feature is that out in the horizon, it should be a little more to the left.
Okay. And she kind of smiles and she goes, I trust you. And she kind of marks where you kind of put your finger down. And she goes, so, how's it been with your greenish, blondish friend over there? He seems plexed.
Yeah, Plex is kind of his state of being. Honestly, I think he and I are kind of having the same issue right now. What do you do on this ship? Like, I can look around and you know, I can see the horizon, I can look for miles, but I can only go so far. Feels, what's that word? Claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic. It's a little windy.
Yeah, the wind's really picking up. Hey, Alder, you feel that wind?
Yeah, it's a bit windy.
And she goes, well, yes, it can be quite cramped on a ship, especially for someone of your status. But, I mean, quite frankly, there's lots to do on the boats. I mean, you're more than welcome to watch the show later this evening. I mean, we're going to be doing like more of a dress rehearsal, but we have to entertain, unfortunately. And I mean, there's other, and she looks over at like the different kind of waitresses that kind of go on, that are walking around. And she goes, there are other activities and libations to quench. And she kind of gestures to all of you, your thirst, if you have one. I mean, there are card games, there's music. What else could you want?
Archery.
And she goes, I might be able to procure you bow and arrow if you'd like to shoot it off the ship, but you
Well,
might run out of arrows.
here's the thing. I'm looking for someone who's a bit of a sharpshooter. There's this bird,
Go on.
and it's been following me for, I don't know, months now. And I want to kill it, but it flies too fast, and I can't hit it. So if I can learn how to shoot real good, maybe I can hit it, and then the bird won't follow me anymore.
And she kind of looks at you and she goes, a bird.
Yeah, I know it sounds like it's just, oh, it's a little bird, it's just doing whatever. No, it's a big bird, and he's very mean. I believe he's part asshole.
And she kind of goes, what kind of bird?
It's a black bird, it's a raven, crow, jackdaw, I don't know.
And she kind of looks at you and she kind of like, you make eye contact while you're kind of like going through this kind of spiel about Paul. And she goes, are you sure you want to kill that? As there's kind of like this recognition that she kind of like, as she makes eye contact with you.
Well, I was, but now you're making me feel like I shouldn't.
And she kind of smirks and she goes, I trust your judgment. I don't know if I have any rangers or sharpshooters on my ship, but I'm more than happy to procure you a bow and arrow. Just don't get guts all over my crow's nest.
Well, what if I get crow? I won't, don't worry.
And she kind of like narrows her eyes, but she has that kind of smile that her nose kind of crinkles when she does it. And as she's kind of like moving the steering wheel, you see on her knuckles are kind of this gold plated and silver encrusted. It almost looks like they're rings that are all connected together, almost like they're brass knuckles. And you see that there are different kind of like symbols on each knuckle in each gem as she kind of turns the wheel, and she goes, well, you are, like I said, more than welcome to watch the show, or more than welcome to drink. If you see Brock, just my Brock. If you see Uncle Brock, just guide him in my direction, and I will tell him to procure you a bow and arrow.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, we still hanging out tonight?
And you see like a slight flush in her cheeks, and she goes, yes, I think that would be nice.
Great. Well, then I will let you be. In the meantime, if you want to think about those golden knuckles that you have over there, I'd sure love to hear about them later.
And she kind of looks at her hands and she goes, at some point.
All in due time.
All in due time.
Oh, what's that? Brock, you're looking for me. Oh, I gotta go. Brock's looking for me. He really wants to get a bow and arrow for me. Bye.
And you hear her chuckle and she goes, bye, Dremel. Eventually, Alder, as you're kind of sitting there and Dremel goes off to do his thing and Donner's with Val, eventually our Brock, Uncle Brock, does come up. He is in kind of, instead of the like the down kind of linens he was wearing, you see him in this kind of like leather set patchwork of armor. It looks like it's very scarred up. It's it's seen a lot of better days. And on his back, you see is a massive kind of shield. And he kind of comes up and you hear him jangle a little bit. And he has this massive sword on his hip. And he kind of sits next to you and he goes, Alder. Points, and he kind of points at you, making sure that he's calling you by the right name.
And I say, yes, Brock. And I'm sorry again about the name mishap.
And he kind of nods and he puts his hand on your shoulder, and it feels very heavy. And you realize he's not like, he's resting it. He's not like giving you a leeway with it. So your shoulder kind of goes down a little bit, and he goes, it's quite all right. I understand that some people like to go by aliases. It's very fair. I have a question. If you so happen to humor me.
I think I owe you that.
And he goes, and he looks over at where Brock is, and he goes, how long has your friend been wearing that hat?
He wears it pretty frequently.
Frequently.
And how long would you say that I've known that? Would you say that I've been seeing him wearing that hat? DM.
That's more of a thought question. How long have you been wearing the hat around Alder?
I mean, first, I wear it when I disguise myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I wore it as Thomas, and then ever since we've been on the ship.
So you've seen him wear like a handful of times.
Yeah, I mean, seen him wear it a handful of times. Usually, it seems like he's wearing it for like a special occasion, or like being somewhere that's nice.
So you've seen him without the hat.
I have.
And he kind of leans in a little bit and he goes, you look any different without the hat? That's a very long pause, Aldo.
I mean, I look pretty different without the hat that you put on me, right?
And you see him and he kind of straightens up and he squeezes your shoulder and he goes, thank you. And he stands up. And you see
and
him
I'll be like,
walks,
wait, Brock.
and he walks towards the front of the ship where Brock is. And he puts, Thokk, you're kind of like looking out into the landscape as you hear this very large presence kind of come behind you. And you hear the dragging of wood as another chair is kind of put next to yours as you see Brock sit next to you. And you see him take off this massive greatsword and he puts it in the crux, in the nook of the corner of the ship. And you see him and he kind of crosses his arms and looks out at the view of the ocean. And he goes, it's pretty, ain't it?
The sword? Yeah, it's a gorgeous sword.
No, the ocean. You've been on it before?
Long time ago. It's been a while.
I've been on it for the past 11 years. I mean, had to figure out a few things before we took Jesse out, and always wanted to see the ocean, you know. I come from a very small city. Well, it's not that small. It's in the Crimson Sand. It's called Chessex. I'm sure you've heard of it. Never lost a battle once. I was a kid there. You know, from the mountains of frost to the very different temperature of heat and sand. And then eventually to get to this, it's quite jarring.
But it's worth the trip.
Worth the trip. So, I guess I'll cut with the foreplay. Brock, who are you?
I'm Brock, just like I mentioned.
No. I've seen a hat like that before. I
Have you?
didn't have a good look of it before, but I have. So I don't know what you look like under there. Maybe you have a disfigurement. Maybe you are completely overweight or something of that nature, or maybe something you're ashamed of, but You have to understand, I do get weary of secrets. Maybe just my jaded old age.
How much of this would Dremel be able to hear since he was going to look for Brock?
Well, this is kind of during the conversation when you're with Creed, so you're all the
Okay.
way on the other side of the shed.
Gotcha.
At the mouth.
Well, let's just say that I am the man that prevented your niece from getting arrested. And I mean no harm on this ship.
And he kind of nods and he goes, fair. That's fine by me. I will be frank. You step just a teeny little bit out of line. And he looks over at the sword and he goes, that pretty sword, its business end is going to be in your chest. Do you understand?
Crystal.
And one of the barmaids kind of comes back with drinks and he goes, give him another pitcher, it's on me. And he gets up and he goes, glad we have this talk, Brock. Hopefully, at some point, you feel comfortable enough to show all of us the real you.
Hopefully.
And he walks kind of back over. And it's at this time that, Dremel, you're kind of finishing your convo with Creed as you see Brock is kind of heading back over to where the stairs are. As he has this massive long sword on his back. And Alder, you're like, fuck.
I would go right past Alder to get to not Thokk Brock.
We just made this so complicated.
I told you not to say the name. Okay, so you do eventually get up to Brock and...
I say, hey, Brock, hey, hold up for a minute.
kind of looks at you, and this is like the only person that you can almost see eye to eye. He's a little bit taller than you, but you guys are both kind of on the same kind of field, which is jarring for you.
Ooh, I almost forgot what it was like to look someone in the eyes without looking down.
Same.
So, I was talking to Captain Creed. I'm looking for a bow and arrow, and she was gonna like talk to you about it the next time she saw you, but I figure I'll just run up and be like, yo, what's up?
And you kind of see his eyes flutter a little bit, and he kind of looks over where Creed is, and you see him, and he lifts his chin up, and he gets some kind of signal back, and he goes, yeah, I can get you a bow and arrow.
All right. Also, how good are you at a bow and arrow?
And you see him, and he looks at his hands, and you see that they're all kind of like cracked and scarred and chipped, and they're almost like catcher's mitts. And he looks at him, and he goes, not very much.
Okay. Well, I'm sensing some tension. But thank you very much for preemptively for getting the bow and arrows. If you want to talk about your feelings with me at any point, I'm open. If you want to just keep making eye contact because we can do that, that's cool too. If you want to play cards, we can do that. I'm tired of being on this ship without being able to like roam around.
And you see him, and he smokes. I'll go, okay, your bow and arrow. So for the rest of the afternoon into the evening, eventually, Dremel, you do get your bow and arrow. Alder, you take note that he does have a bow and arrow. Thokk, I'm assuming you're just getting shit-faced at the front of the ship. And Donner, I'm not sure what you're doing after Val leaves.
Just kind of hanging out on the boat.
Hanging out with the boys.
Doing
Boys.
boat stuff.
So
Up
there
on
is there is a good like hour and a half where Dremel is trying to shoot Paul, and you and Alder are just kind of looking up at the crow's nest, and you see Dremel. He's like, "Fuck, damn it,
Shit.
fuck, shit, cock." And Thokk, eventually you do hear Dremel like cursing, and you turn around and you see that he's trying to hit Paul in the crow's nest, but either he goes too far or he goes too short. And eventually it's just all around the crow's nest are either sticking into the actual boat or just like cracked or just arrows everywhere.
Drim, I like Paul.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Wait.
I was afraid to
Wait.
kind of broach this subject with you.
But we met first, and Paul was mean to me. So by the transitive property, you have to not like Paul.
I don't. Okay, I love you. You're like my brother. I like Paul. He's fine. He didn't do anything mean to me. What did he do that was mean to you? I wasn't there for that.
He looked at me weird, and he pecked me once or twice. He's following me around without my explicit consent, which I do not give.
And you hear,
That's you. That's what you sound like. Come down here and just fight me instead of running away.
I don't know. There's a comfort, a familiarity with Paul. Kind of like him. I'm gonna be honest.
You better hope I don't get any better at shooting then.
I mean, I will hope that you don't. And I'll ask you to not kill him for me. But if you just so happen to have this burr in your saddle that you want to kill this bird, then far be it from me to stand in your way.
What if I maim him?
He's already kind of maimed.
Yeah, but I can maim him twice.
I mean, turnabout is fair play, I guess. You just kind of do what you're going to do, mate. I don't want
so
to tell you what to do.
I'll shoot him in the foot, so he always has to be flying. Or then he'll be like a flamingo, and then maybe he'll turn pink, and that'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind a pink bird following me around.
I mean, it sounds like we just figured out how to make you tolerate Paul.
You
Problem solvers right here.
You all right, man?
Okay. Just getting kind of nervous.
About?
What we're gonna find, what we might not find. You know, this island is supposed to kind of unlock some memories for me and maybe give me some information. So, you know, what if the information I get's not good?
Well,
And I would assume Alder's also hearing this because I would be sitting with him. Yeah. So I'm offering this
oh,
up.
we were sitting? Okay.
I'm sitting.
well, they were sitting, you were
Yeah.
standing up, and while you're having this moment, I just want to remind you, there's just a fuck ton of arrows just
Yeah.
around.
No,
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Alder, I personally, even if it's bad, you got us. It's better to know than not know. And as that happens, I start picking up the arrows. And I don't know. I got a good feeling about it because Zunu said, follow the thunder, the storms, whatever. You followed it. Oh, fuck, this one's broken. And so far, so good.
I guess it's just a little nerve-wracking, you know, and, you know, to find out how long I've been gone for and, you know, what state my family's in. And so I'm a bit concerned, but, you know, and I'm going to pull one out of the like the mast of the crow's nest and hand it to Drem. Just, you know, thoughts and things occurring to me. And just a little nervous, that's all.
Well, I feel that. Put my hand on her shoulder. And for you, because you're feeling some type of way, I promise not to kill Paul right now.
I appreciate that.
Speaking of that,
And
Alder, do you know, is there any paint on board?
why would I know that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to involve you in the conversation.
You're the crafty one. I mean,
It's true. I did make
you
some
can
really
cook,
good
you can
love
make
signs.
things. So you're the crafty one.
I mean, I haven't seen any paint, but I also don't see why they wouldn't have paint. I mean, it's. I mean, what would the correct term for the ship be? Would it be like a pleasure ship, or what? I mean, it's a pleasure ship. I'm sure they have to keep the place nice and upkept well, so I'm sure they probably paint rooms and things like that all the time. So, I mean,
It's called a fuck raft. I think that would be what I would call it.
It's a little big
I've
for
been
a
on
raft.
I've been on a few rafts. Rafts I'm more familiar with. This is definitely not a raft.
A fuck canoe?
Fuck canoe.
A canoodle canoe?
Closer.
Coitus canoe.
Yeah. Or just sexy ship.
I like the
What?
alliteration.
It is
Yeah,
nice.
sexy ship. Or Cunnilingus cruise.
Ooh,
Booty
that
boat.
might be the winner. Booty boat.
Never mind. Booty boat wins. Booty
Booty
boat. There we
boat's
go.
it. Booty boat
It's
is
hard to argue with booty boat. That's the name of the episode.
It can mean two things because pirates and loot booty.
Oh God, it's got so many meanings.
Layers.
So meta. I mean, we could probably talk to Brock about getting stuff, but should probably let you guys know this Thokk's not with us right now, correct? Or
Correct.
Brock, Brock, Brock and Brock Thokk. So yeah, Brock came up to me, real Brock, and like put his hand on my shoulder and he started asking me questions. And he asked me how often Brock wears his hat. And I was like, I mean, I usually see him wear it on fancy occasions because it's technically not a lie. And then he went on to go ahead and also ask me, does he look different without the hat? And then I said, I mean, you gave me a hat. Didn't I look different without the hat? Because, again, technically not a lie, just more of a non-answer. And then he went over and had a conversation with Brock. I don't know how it went or what happened or what's going on, but I think he knows stuff. So he obviously already had a conversation with Brock, so I'm hoping that Brock also understands that he probably knows stuff. But at the same time, I think we might want to go talk with Brock because sometimes
you're rambling. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. That would explain why not Thokk Brock was a bit cold to me when I met him when I grabbed his attention earlier.
because he had just talked to Brock Thokk.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, so we just need to make sure that Brock Thokk understands that this is bad.
Yeah, I mean Brock Thokk talks about how dumb he is, but I don't think he's that dumb. I think he understands that much.
Pretty sure he knows that this is bad.
I hope so, but I'm just trying to make sure that I'm erring on the side of caution.
When are you not erring on the side of caution?
I like to be cautious, okay?
Scaredy cat.
Maybe your next name shouldn't be Aegis, it should be Cautious.
Hey, that was good.
That is good, but also it just was my father's name, so it kind of just made sense. So
I mean, but Cautious makes sense for you.
I lean over to Donner and say, sometimes I think he doesn't get jokes.
I think you're right.
and then
Weird.
I'll be like, I can hear them, and I'll be like, jokes are in chapter 11.
You're not on chapter 11 yet? You've had that book for weeks.
I haven't had all the time that I want to read.
Drim, we're not all big brain boys on the mountain. It takes me a while to get through books too. And I'll hold up the book that Ashiki gave me from the gods, and it's like 37 pages in. I'm like, we all read at different paces.
You're right, Donner. You take your time. I want you to absorb the information, really integrate it into the core of who you are.
I'm going to try.
Pick your shit up.
Such a
I
sweet
will
guy.
pick nothing up.
Again, not getting jokes. Just skip to
Brotherly
chapter.
love. I feel it. Let's flip to chapter 11, and it just says you.
Didn't Ashiki give that to you?
Yep, don't get it.
Yeah.
And you hear from the crow's nest. As Paul kind of looks down.
I like Paul.
Okay, maybe I like him a little more now too.
And Paul kind of looks at you and Dremel as you kind of look up at him. You slowly see that his black feathers turn pink with black tips as the color starts to slowly come out.
Huh.
Is
Yeah.
that a transforming bird?
Sure looks like it.
I'm so confused.
Maybe I won't try to kill this bird.
It's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah, Donner, that was a good idea.
Yeah, I know. You're welcome.
Man,
a
Alder, why
really
didn't you
good-
have that idea? You're the one who loves
It's a
animals
really
so much.
good joke. Yeah.
And Paul looks very amused, the pink Paul.
Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
So what are we doing?
Singing the Pink Panther theme song.
Okay,
Pink
after
Paul.
that. Are you talking to Thokk or are we going to the show? What are we doing?
I'm gonna go to the show because I told Val I would take notes.
I will walk over to Thokk, try to get him to come to the show with us,
Mm-hmm.
and then role play from there.
Okay. So
And I will be
Donner-
with Dremel.
Okay. Donner's like, this has been fun, but I'm gonna fuck off to the show now, because I promised. And so, Thokk, you have been on the in the front of the ship the whole entire day. You've literally have gotten up, pissed on the side of off the side of the boat, like you haven't moved. And eventually, throughout the day, you know, occasionally they would check up on you, but Alder and Dremel kind of sit next to you and you're a little buzzed. You've been having this continuous buzz that's been going through, and eventually Manu had come back, and he's actually at the front of the ship, kind of sitting, as Alder and Dremel approach you.
Hey, how you feeling?
Pretty good.
Coming to the show?
I forgot there was a show.
Yeah, I can understand why.
It's pretty good. You should try one.
And I lean over to Alder and say, maybe I need to speak his language. I just need to try what?
You should try that. The thing you sent me earlier.
Oh yeah, man, I had one of those and it was really good. And I threw it. I didn't throw it back. I drank it and my brain was like, hey, that's pretty good. And then so I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to come to the show? Like, I think it'd be a lot of fun. We saw it, we've seen it the other nights, but maybe this night it's gonna be a little different because time keeps on slipping.
Is Don going?
I cannot confirm nor deny whether I have knowledge of him going or not. But if he is there, there's so many tables, man. I bet you could take a whole table and be like, "Hey, it's me, Brock," and they'll think it's the other Brock, and then you'll just get a whole table to yourself, and Donner can't go because it's your table.
Yeah.
And that's just what owning land is.
The other Brock threatened me with a sword.
Oh yeah, I'm worried about him.
Yeah, he's-
So that's what happened with that. Threaten me with a sword?
Mhm.
Hear that, Drum?
It's okay.
Yeah,
Mano kind of looks back over at you. He's like, yeah, it's with the fucking sword and shit.
Right? My sword
Right.
is so much better than his sword.
Why is my head feel tingly?
yeah,
You're
man.
welcome.
Yeah, Alder, I heard about the sword. I'm trying to keep his mind off it right now because he's clearly drunk and emotional, and who knows what he'll do.
We should fight him.
We should fight him, you're
We
right.
should like punch him in the face.
As
I should-
Like,
I mean,
Punch-
who are we punching in the face?
What's his name
Who we
again?
punch
Cock?
in the face? Look at Manu.
Is it Cock?
Bro? No, not cock.
Is it Shrock? My
Block.
lips. You
It's
broke
Block.
me. I'm broken.
Brock.
Brock. Yeah.
Brock. That
Ah.
one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
As Thokk is like talking and pointing at the front of the ship.
Maybe we should like hold off on doing any sort of punching. Hey, if you want to punch someone, how about you punch me and it'll be like a practice.
I can
And
punch
then-
Doc.
Oh
We
shit!
can
Yeah,
punch
let's
him right in his fucking dumb face.
Yeah.
Oh well, let's. Alder, you want to jump in here?
Let's not punch each other.
Say it in his language.
Fighting stupid.
Okay. He doesn't know my language.
Excuse me. First off, to the queen. Also,
to
fighting's
the
dumb.
Punching's fun. You're right. Punching is fun.
Punching is
Punching-
really fun. Like
Punching.
we could try the thing.
Yeah, but what if? I thought you said that was bad. We burned a ship down.
No, that's the fire thing. What if I did like the holy thing?
What holy thing?
Sometimes when I punch things, and then like energy comes out, and it's like I'm smiting on my enemies.
Just punch someone and smite them with your energy. I was like, I'm like looking at my hands.
Fuck, Alder, why is he talking about burning down a ship?
I don't know. I think we should just go to the show and leave him here.
Yeah. Hey,
Let's go to
Thokk.
the show, and I'll
Hey.
like go.
Yeah, I put my arm around him like,
Oh,
hey,
do you
let's
think they'll
not
have
burn.
music?
Let's not burn down any sort of ship. Let's go have a nice time, and maybe. And I look for a waitress or barmaid,
Yeah,
whatever the term.
You see one of them.
And I kind of motion over, be like, and maybe we'll get you something to, sorry, calm you down, or I'm done with that. Maybe something to calm you down a little bit.
I can have another. Maybe not so much Bloody Marias anymore. Maybe
Whiskey?
Bloody Jerry.
Water.
Whiskey.
I'm
Oh,
thirsty.
man.
Water. There's plenty of water in the sea. No.
Yeah, man, water's so good. Have you ever had just like a big thing of water and just drank that and nothing else?
No.
Oh, wow, man, you got to try it. It's it'll change your life.
And then I'll also be like, could we also maybe get like some jalapeno poppers or something so that way he's got something to eat?
And you see
I've-
one of them, and they're like, I think
enough.
I like that.
I've been eating all day. I've been eating.
Not
Celery
enough,
doesn't
apparently.
count.
Celery does count.
Celery's
Negative
negative
carbs.
calories.
We ate so much celery. That actually has water in it, so really, it's like
And
we
we're
drank like a lot
hydrated.
of water. We're very hydrated. Why
So
does my head
ready.
hurt?
Oh my
Okay,
god.
the show. How should I look?
Oh, yeah. No, let's pick out outfits. No, change your appearance and look like you but fancier.
Hey, but let's not do that in the middle of the ship. Okay, let's go to the bathroom.
I don't need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, we don't
you-
have to pee.
I already peed off the side of the ship.
Yeah, he has a big ding dong. But
Love
only
it.
you can hear me say that. But it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
a compliment.
I like it.
But like, good for you.
Thanks. It
God,
was-
what do you feed it? Because I feel like it like occasionally just like talks
I
to you.
don't
That's how big it is.
Feed it.
And Manu's like, I get it, sex stuff.
I don't
And you
know
see him,
what's
and he's
happening.
sliding down like an invisible chair that he's been sitting in, and he's like,
Okay.
I'm
For the
so,
show.
I'm
Yeah.
so
So-
concerned.
while you deal with the Thokk situation, eventually, Donner, you make it down to the bottom of the ship where the performance kind of hall is in the room, and it's less crowded as it was the first night you were there. There are a few other patrons that still stuck on the ship, So occasionally you see the snooty person, like, this is my vacation, I'm not getting off. But occasionally you do see like some of the back staff, like you see girls in aprons and kind of like buns in their hair, and they all look kind of excited as Brock comes out, Brock comes out, and he's in his regular kind of wear. You see him have this kind of suit of armor that's a little bit different from what you saw Captain Creed come out of. It's by the piano, and you see him put his sword down there and cracks his knuckles, and he starts playing a little bit, and you see him, and he's kind of like conducting the girls as they sing, and you see Val, and she's in slightly a prettier kind of gown, but she doesn't have like makeup on or anything like that. It's like a costume rehearsal. And she occasionally, like, her eyes will dart over to you, and then she'll dart over back to the piano, and eventually Captain Creed does come out, and it's around that time that whoever's coming down to see the show comes to see the show. So whomst is here,
I'm definitely there.
right?
I would have made my way as well.
I'm stumbling my way in.
Yep, I got Thokk under, like, I'm holding him up.
Okay, they're holding him up, and
if I made like a corner somewhere, like where like I had nobody, I changed my appearance to look fancier.
to look what?
Fancier.
Fancier. So when you're sitting down, you look fancier. Okay.
I just fancier attire.
So you sit down, and you're kind of in the corner, and you're wearing your hat, and then Manu's kind of like crisscrossed on the table. He's like, you should dress up like, you should look like a sultan. That would be cool, like a turban with like a feather, and then it's just like flowy, and it's like white and gold. Oh my god! Like when my sister got married, her husband, he wore something like that. He looked like a million platinum coins.
I don't know how that looks like though.
Oh, I'll show you. And you see him, and he squints his eyes, and you see Manu's clothes shift. And they turn into a very handsome, like, embedded, beaded, kind of white and gold sultan.
How'd you do that?
I fought with my brain shit, and I was like, what did that fuckface wear? And then I put it on.
That's awesome. I'll put it on tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay, all right. Now, just like, we'll look like the cream of the crop. We'll look like the shit.
The shit.
And then Drummel and Alder, you're mortified as Thokk is talking to the middle of the table going, the shit.
I do not like this.
Are there other tables open?
There are a good chunk of tables open. It's sparse and in between. Like, you see the occasional table that's full of like patrons, but you just see that Donner is currently at a table by himself, and he has like a very simple piece of parchment, and occasionally he's like writing stuff down, and occasionally doodling, because I would assume he'd make stick figures as well.
100%.
Or boobs. So you have him to deal with, or you have boobs over there?
Ew.
The Sultan of Boobs.
Oh, not boobies.
I mean, you can appreciate them though, right?
Yeah, I could appreciate them, but they're just for pillows, that's it.
I think I'm just gonna distance myself.
Probably a good idea.
I'm gonna cast minor. Oh, go ahead.
No, just distance myself. Maybe go to another table, to not be right next to Brock, and definitely also not be by other Brock.
Okay. So are you gonna sit with Donner, who's more towards stage left, and Brock is on stage right, or you're looking for like a table all by yourself?
I'll go sit by Donna.
Okay. So eventually you kind of come over and you see that Donner has scribbled a few things. You do see that there is occasionally like a flower and like a smiley face and like
And a cool S.
a really sick S and like a skull with a dagger through it.
What I used for my last name all throughout middle school. Got it.
Jesus.
I know exactly the S.
Yes, you're like, oh, that's rad AF. As you kind of sit down next to Donner there. Drem, where are you going?
I'm staying next to Thokk, but I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion on him so that it looks like he's just sitting there, like an upstanding young gentleman.
Okay. Great.
Am I just like,
Yeah, I mean, you're not like rigid, but you're definitely not slumped over the table.
I'm just still having like small talk with my new.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know.
Not fucking cool.
And then I'll kind of like, I just want to go over to Donna and I'll be like, I know you're vigilantly taking notes and occasionally doodling, but Brock is hammered and he's talking to himself. I don't know what's going on.
Well, he can see Manu, so that's what's happening there.
Gotcha, you're probably right. But I have never seen him this drunk. And I think it's gonna be bad.
I would also lean in that direction as it not being good. It's probably not a good idea for me to go over there, though, because that would just kind of create a bigger scene.
He did say that he wants to punch you in the face. So
Okay.
I think that will create a scene. So I would say you're probably good here. Just since Brock is definitely skeptical of his hat and he is very drunk, I'm going to go ahead and be cautious, Lyndon, again, and say that this doesn't look good.
Nope. If I had to put money down, I would say Captain Creed is going to find out about our friend within the night.
Yep, let's just hope that she really likes Dremel, because I think that's our ace in the hole at this point.
I don't know if it's a big enough ace, but we can certainly try. And
At
certainly
least he's a big enough humanoid, so there's that.
when I got dressed this morning and I put on like normal clothes, my mace is probably in the room, right? Cool,
Correct.
Cool.
You wouldn't have brought your mace with you. You're on.
Yeah, I'm just in normal people clothes.
You are.
So,
Yeah. I was gonna say I might have my staff with me because I usually use it as like a walking stick, but I definitely don't have my shield on me. I would say that's probably in the room.
Right. You're all most likely. You're all in casual clothing. So any kind of armor or anything like that you would be wearing, you wouldn't be wearing because this is a
Gotcha.
pleasure ship.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, so never mind, nothing.
I'm gonna just try and like hop a table or two to be in like to be able to intercept if that was to be the case. If they were gonna make a beeline for Thokk to kind of like get in front and be like, "Hey, wait, just a minute."
So I was thinking because I'm wearing the hat of disguise that I was wearing my stuff underneath.
Would you drunkenly wear your stuff underneath?
Well, he was sober at the start.
Like I was
You were
sober
sober.
that day, and since I'm on a ship where people want to potentially hurt me,
Yes.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm not wearing my armor because it clinks, but
You have
I-
what?
I assume that I would still have something to protect myself, like a sword.
Okay. I would say that you have your sword and you were able to fashion it to look like a cane.
Okay,
Fair?
because I just thought it hid under.
Or yeah, you could hide it under like a cloak.
Oh, I meant like the illusion. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that works.
the illusion.
It's not just like this weird second head popping out. It's
Yeah,
just,
it's like a.
it's all.
Ah, I don't know what it is.
It is. Okay. So the three of you, Dremel, Alder, and Donner, are currently at your table, and eventually the captain does come out, and she is in the gown that she kind of wore before, and she starts singing again, and it just kind of fills the room again, where it kind of feels like Donner, you remember slipping into that hot bath and that all over feeling. It's like getting that as she kind of sings. And this time, and she's singing about how the open water is almost kind of like a bird in the sky, and how she kind of feels freeing in that. And she does her usual kind of like walk around, flirt around, and she hits your table. She kind of winks at Drummel, and eventually she does make her way through the different tables, and she does go to Thokk's table at some point. I know that you were trying to intercept. That's why I'm communicating it to you. So, Donner, what are you doing?
Fuck. I don't know. I would just try and keep her with me more than kind of letting her go. Like, I would keep moving, like sliding my chair out, I guess. I don't.
So you keep kind of sliding your chair out, and you see like her eyes kind of narrow a little bit. Like she's like,
And
what
I'm
the
just
fuck are you
like, I'm
doing?
mouthing. I'm like, can we talk? Can we just real quick?
And you see her, and she looks very confused, and it seems like she's able to project her voice out, and you hear it ringing, but she stops singing as it's going, and she goes, what?
I mean, you're doing a phenomenal job. I have some notes.
Oh, notes.
Not for you, just for the show. I think it could be more like bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger.
I mean, what is this boat if not extravagant?
Is my performance not extravagant? I'm literally
No.
holding a note while talking to you.
It's not. You're not the problem. I think everything else needs to be bigger. It needs to match you. You know what I'm saying?
And she kind of has this eye contact with you, and she goes, no, I don't know what you're saying.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Enlighten me.
So you're like this big shining star, but you're surrounded by doo-doo. Don't you want to be the biggest star that is around other really big stars? So then everybody's like, she's not just the best thing on this ship, she's the best thing in the world. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
This is going to be terrible. Don't even... That's probably not good.
4.
Show me a 5.
Okay, my persuasion's not terrible. 21.
21, and she looks at you and she goes, I'll put more fireworks in it for you. How about that?
That sounds great. Thank you for taking my time, my notes, for just connecting with me as an audience member.
And you hear her and she says, can I finish singing now?
I mean, if you have to, I just...
And she
I
just
don't want
immediately
it to end.
turns, and that note that's been holding, she eventually matches it again, and it goes back into her singing as she continues her routine. And she does get to Brock's table.
Before she seeing Donner kind of picking up what he did, I want to change the minor illusion to make it look like it'll still be, so instead of it being him just sitting there, it'll be Thokk however he is, but I want to minor illusion that his hat is not there.
Okay. So Thokk is still, Brock is still there. He's not fixated on anything. It's just him normally, but he's just not wearing the hat.
Sans hat.
Yeah, it's like Brock.
So he's still shit-faced, but sans hat.
Yeah. So it's going to be just Brock the way he is. The only thing I'm changing and moving with him is the hat. So if the hat, it's just his head.
Okay. So, Thokk, you do see Captain Creed approaching you as she's singing, because it's part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then Manu's like, oh shit, she's getting closer. What are we doing?
Just act casual.
Be fucking cool as shit. Pretend to be straight.
I just lean back.
Pretend she entices you sexually.
Okay.
Because she knows that you're gay, right? but she doesn't know Brock isn't. And he kind of looks and he's like, right.
Right. So I look at her and I'm just like trying to make like sultry eyes, but I'm like squinting.
It's like you're like concentrating really hard, and Manu's like, that's good, that's good, that's good. You're doing great.
Perfect.
And she does come over to you and she caresses the side of your face, and she kind of looks at you a little oddly as it doesn't feel the same as what it would look like. And you kind of like squint over where Brock is, and Brock is like this as he's playing, and his eyes are just super wide.
I'm just like, you smell really pretty.
I said you smell shitty.
I want to talk to your mom. And she smiles. She smiles, and then I have to do it for myself because I need to see where this goes.
Mm-hmm. I'm casual as shit.
You are casual as shit. And
Don't
as you're
be
like,
suspicious.
I'm casual as shit. She runs her hands up over your face to go through your hair. And something catches on her hands. As she full motion, and you see the hat kind of fall. And Brock is like this. And Manu's like, oh, fuck, shit, your hat.
I cast silent image.
As Thokk, you are completely just like yourself, and you're like, I'm straight. And Manu's like, you're doing great, sweaty.
Hey, baby.
As Captain Creed looks at you, as you are currently green, with a blonde streak in your hair, as you hear Brock slowly like stop playing music, and Val's just like, fuck.
Donna just kind of stands up and goes, I have a note.
I have a note. And Creed looks at you, Thokk, and there's a moment, and you're still like squinting at her, and you're actually holding her, and she has her arms kind of wrapped around your neck as her note kind of trails off. And she goes, huh.
Hey.
Huh. And she looks over, and you see Brock, and he's like, wow, my sword is so big. I gotta go sharpen this. As he slowly gets off the stage, and Val's like, slowly just kind of like soft shoes off, as the rest of the girls are looking first confused and then recognize who's at the table, as Creed goes, huh.
Huh. Yeah.
And you like that?
I still don't notice that my hat's off, by the way.
No, you don't. And Manu's like, your hat's off your face. You're Thokk right now. You're not Tom or Brock. You're green. That's why the music stopped. I think we stopped the show. And Manu goes, you're gonna be fine.
So as I'm holding as I'm holding Creed in my lap, I was like, hey, Jesse, mighty fine place you got here. Real nice.
And Manu looks down at her hands, and he's like, knuckles are really white right now, but I think you're winning her over.
Pretty show.
And you hear like her knuckles popping, and he's like, her rings are really pretty though. Compliment her on her rings.
Your rings are really pretty.
I said you look shitty. So, Thokk, just let me know. Go on. Hold on. Does a 31 hit you?
Oh no. Oh wait, yeah.
She kind of reels back with her fist. Give me a second.
Oh.
What the hell was that
Brought out the
thing?
dice app.
That was
Uh-oh.
his dice app.
As you see this kind of energy what is it? Culminating in her fist as this blinding white radiant light reels back as you feel it connect with your jaw to a satisfying pop as you take 25 points of damage. Let me see the breakdown for that.
Break.
As you take, I'm about to break his jaw. So about 20 of that is radiant damage. And the other portion is, I forgot there's the 3. It's 28. So 3 of it is strength. And the remaining 5 is just pure, just whatever this is made out of. As you hear a satisfying, as you kind of reel back, and she softly gets up. And you see her, and she shakes her hand, and she goes, "Morning. We're going to talk about this. If you can talk after that." As your jaw is completely, like, unhinged.
I probably deserve that.
And she just puts a finger up, and she's like... Mm-mm. And she slowly turns around, and she looks over at your table, Donner, and she looks at the 3 of you, and she goes, "I'm assuming you all knew about this."
This has a name.
Yeah. I'm not talking to you.
Yes, Captain. We knew.
She looks over at Alder,
It's true.
looks at Dremel.
I learned some things. Yeah.
And she kind of nods, and she goes, addresses the audience. "I'm so sorry for the interruption of the rehearsal here. Live shows are passionate and sometimes unpredictable. But we will be back tomorrow evening, and I promise that there won't be any interruptions unless there are any other surprises on my ship that I should know about." As she looks up, and she goes, "Do you want me to use the other hand?" As she looks back over at you, and Manu's like, and you see his jaw like recenter. He goes,
I thought you were talking to me.
No, Captain, we're so sorry. He will be right as rain in the morning, and that conversation will occur. We're gonna just kind of get him into bed and let him sleep this off.
That's a great idea. I think you all should have a powwow, all of you. And she looks over at Dremel.
And he doesn't say anything. He just kind of, like, big sigh. Like,
"I'll see you all in the mornings." Once again, so sorry, folks. And you see her, and she kind of shakes her hand as it starts to swell a little bit. As the 3 of you are currently at the table, and Thokk is at the other end of the table. And I think we can end it there.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys for watching another episode of Dungeons and Dragons and Junk Drawer. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. We'll be back next week with an all-new episode. And goodness and greatness, and Thokk maybe having the ability to talk. So, Josh, would you like to read some names?
Yep. So thank you to another TV viewer, Commander Root, Devlin07, Gandalf the Babe, Prankture, and double thank you to Gandalf the Babe for subbing again for the 5th time at Tier 1 and getting us an emote. So that's pretty neat.
That's very neat. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're a sweetheart.
And what a spicy episode we had tonight, brought to you by Tapatio.
Brought to you by...
Goodbye, everyone.
Top